With The Horrible Way to Die, it just kind of came about because I'd been doing a lot of research on serial killers and just reading a lot about them, watching a lot of shows and stuff, and I just came up to the writer, Simon, and we were both in kind of a spot where we weren't really doing anything, and it was kind of like, hey, do you want to write this thing for me about a serial killer? And both of us kind of had a thing against serial killer movies. We didn't really like them, you know, and Simon definitely didn't like them, the writer. And so, but like the kind of route that we wanted to take of it was taking not just a movie about like a guy killing people, but, you know, through all my research, I had realized that the most interesting story was sort of like the tail end of Ted Bundy's story, which was when he escaped from prison, and just the concept of, you know, when he escaped from prison, I mean, his ex-fiancée, you know, knew that he was out there, knew that he was responsible for these murders, and, you know, it must have been like really weird to know that he was just on the loose, you know, and how that would have affected her, and, you know, all those kind of things. And that's kind of the starting point where we came from, which was, you know, from a different perspective, you know, which I think is kind of what we try to do with everything, you know, is try to find you know, start with a unique, you know, point of view and go from there, especially on a topic that's not used from that point of view, you know. We actually wrote A Horrible Way to Die in 2009, and the money ended up falling through, or no, actually 2008, and the money ended up falling through early 2009. And so I spent that next year, you know, kind of piddling around, you know, and so did Simon. And during that period, we ended up doing 3 of the segments for the date rape film, What Fun We Were Having. And then the money finally, we found our investor, Zach Zeman, and for A Horrible Way to Die. So we put the date rape thing on hold because there really wasn't any money in it anyways. And so then we concentrated on A Horrible Way to Die, and since then we've been working together pretty consistently. Like he wrote another segment in my other anthology film that I co-directed with Swanberg called Autoerotic, and we just did a movie called You're Next, which we just locked picture on. Right now I'm just at a point where I just can't really stop, you know, especially last year, because in addition to all the stuff I shot, I was also DPing for Joe Swanberg on a lot of his movies. Shot quite a few of his things last year. He shot like a ton of movies. But I mean, I think to some degree it comes down to the point that I just don't have any money, and if I stop, then I have to go get a job. And this is kind of a justification where I may not be living comfortably. I may be jumping around on people's couches and stuff, but you know, as long as I don't stop, then I don't have to you know, get out of the film world, you know, and that's the most important thing, is to just keep staying in that world until it does sustain me. And it's kind of gotten to the point where finally, after, you know, all this hard work, it is like financially paying off. But it's only because, you know, I work, you know, so basically tirelessly without any kind of financial reward or any kind of reward at all. But, you know, all this stuff is starting to come out now, and people are starting to see it, and, you know, it's making it easier and easier to get more made. And hopefully in the future I can slow down and, you know, do 1 movie a year or something. But I don't even know if that was the case, if that's all I would want to do or not. But, you know, I guess it depends.